Hello once again. Today I want to talk to you about life from a different perspective. We're still dealing with the issue of abortion, but I want to address it from a different perspective. I want to do a little teaching today. We want to talk about the process of life, the process of creation and purpose. If you go back in the biblical explanation of creation, you find that the Bible says that God created everything that exists. And then under the seed, the fields, the trees, and everything that was created, he put seed within it. And the reason he put the seed within it was that whatever he created had the ability to reproduce itself. And the seed of the trees and the grass and the herbs of the field would all mate with the ground. A seed would go into the ground, and the ground would conceive that seed, and it would bring forth whatever it was, the tree, the herb, whatever it was that it conceived. So then he created the animals of the field, and with the animals he created a male and a female. And in the male there was a seed. And that seed contained the life of that species, and he created a female of that species that was able to conceive that seed, nurture that seed, and to reproduce that particular species of animal. And that goes on to tell us that God then took the dust of the earth and he created a man. And he took that man and he breathed into that man his life. And that man became a living soul at the moment that that life entered into that body. I want you to understand that the body itself existed. It was created. It had all of its organs, but it had no ability to function until God breathed into that body his breath of life. So it was God that gave life unto Adam. It's God that gives life. Because I believe what happens in the process of us being able to come to the place where we rationalize concerning abortion is that the concept is that we give life. So therefore, if we're giving life, then we also have the power and the authority to decide whether or not we want to give that life or not, which is an irrational thought. It's not based upon truth, because we are not giving life. We only have the ability to give birth to the life. We don't give life, only God can give life. Because it's his life that's in the seed that causes life to be manifested. So unlike the animal kingdom, Adam was all alone and he had no one to come together with to be able to reproduce himself. So one day God said, it's not good that man should be all alone or alone. So he took man and he caused him to fall asleep, and he took a part of man, and with that part of man he created another body, and into that body he breathed the breath of life. That body was the female, or Eve. And then he gave Eve and Adam, just like he did the animal kingdom, the same process by which they could come together and reproduce themselves. Now, understand the power that God gave man was not to create mankind, because we can't create a body. We can't take our breath of life and breathe into that body and make that a living person. So what he did, he took the seed of life, the breath of life that he breathed, he put it into a sperm, a microscopic cell, and he placed that into the loins of a man. And the body that he created of the dust of the ground, he took that and put it in a microscopic form, and he put it into an egg, and he placed that into the body of a woman. And when the man and the woman comes together and the breath of life, the sperm, is released and travels into that egg, that body, at the moment that that breath of life enters into that egg or that body, at that very moment, that man or that person becomes a living soul as it was in the beginning. And I believe that we think that life is developing in the womb. Life does not develop in the womb. Life is conceived in the womb. At that very moment, that child, that baby has no less life in it than it'll have when it's 99 years old. What is developing in the womb is the body. It's the life that's in the body that causes the body to be able to develop. That's why science today is so much on getting the portions of a baby, because the life that's in it. Because even though they say it's not a life and it hasn't developed, yet they want the portions of the body because it contains life. And it is no less life than it is in an adult from the moment that it's conceived. So when man and woman enters into this relationship, unlike the animal kingdom, that the reproductive process is confined to the purpose solely of reproduction, with mankind, there's an added purpose where we come together in relationship to build love. We come to build intimacy. We come to build relationship with one another. A tie is made in between that male and female to become one with another. That's different from the animal kingdom. We have an added purpose in male and female coming together, man and woman, husband and wife coming together in this reproductive process. But what has happened is that there's something else that happens during this reproductive process, and that's pleasure. There's the benefit of pleasure. And enjoyment of one another, physical enjoyment, physical pleasure in the fleshly realm. Besides that which is happening in the spirit realm, besides in reproductive, besides that which is happening in the soul realm, mentally and emotionally, is that which happens in the physical realm. That's the benefit, what we feel in our bodies. But what has happened is that in society today, we have taken the benefit of pleasure and we've made that the purpose. We've replaced reproduction with pleasure. And we've taken reproduction and made that a choice. So the soul, and the reason we can make the decisions that we're making now that are based upon sex in our government, because pleasure has become the sole purpose. And so therefore, if pleasure is the purpose, then every decision we're making is based upon the fact that it brings pleasure. And if it brings pleasure, then therefore we can justify it. We can build a law upon it. We can build our society around it because it fulfills pleasure. That's a dangerous place for us to be in, because pleasure in the fleshly realm and what one enjoys is only limited by the imagination of man. And I hope that you know there is no limit to the imagination of man. As gross and as grotesque as it sounds, there's people that get pleasure out of watching somebody else suffer. Murderers get pleasure out of seeing their victims suffer. There are rapists that get pleasure out of having control over another individual. But that's their pleasure. So to build a society where pleasure is the purpose in life is a dangerous place for any nation to be in. But that's the place that we find ourselves in today, because everything that every sexual appetite that man has, we have legalized it or in the process of debating it in our judiciary system. We as a nation are in a dangerous place. The purpose of the process of reproduction is not solely for pleasure. That's the benefit. That is the benefit. not the purpose. And we have no right to, under the law of purpose, to destroy that life. It's God that causes, it's his breath of life that enters into that seed. And so it's him that gives life. And if he gives the life, then we have no authority or power to take away that life. Not under our laws, nor under his law. What we have done is that as we have evolved into this sexual revolution, we've found a way to justify our actions. We've found a way to make our reproductive process a choice, an option. When you enter into the realm of pleasure, that's the benefit. You transition from the realm of pleasure into the realm of responsibility. That woman becomes responsible for that seed that she's conceived. She becomes responsible for the nurturing of that life that's growing in that body that's growing inside of her. She becomes responsible to give birth to that life. She didn't give the life, God gave the life, but she enters into a realm of responsibility and accountability for the life that has been conceived within inside of her, to bring it forth, to allow it to fulfill its purpose, or his or her purpose in life, to reproduce mankind. As is the tree, as is with the animals, everything that has seed within itself is for the purpose of sustaining that particular species in the earth. As with mankind, it's for the purpose of maintaining mankind in the earth. And every person that is born and conceived is born and conceived with a purpose to contribute to society. And we have the responsibility of bringing forth that seed. We have perverted all of that. We have changed all of that. Now, what my purpose in doing these teachings is for give you a different perspective, to be able to look at this, to begin to think about where we are, to begin to think about where we're going, to begin to look at consequences beyond the benefit of fulfillment of our fleshly nature, to begin to look around you and see the society in which we're in, and why we're here, and what has caused us to be here. There's a cause and effect for everything. And so that's the purpose of these videos. That's the purpose of me wanting to cause you to stop and to begin to evaluate where we are. And hopefully to begin to reason with yourself and with the society in which we live, and say, we have to make a change. We have to go back for our sake, for our children's sake, and for our future generations. It's our responsibility. It's your responsibility. It's my responsibility. We have to make a change. For now, this is Kenneth Weber, and this is the Voice of Reason, and I hope I've said something to cause you just to sit back and think and look at life from a different perspective. God bless you.